Hello everyone and welcome to the Money Man. Now I've got something slightly different for you today. I've been telling you guys over the last couple of months that I've had a secret project and it's finally coming to fruition. So we're going to try something a little bit different today. And first of all, I want to give a big shout out to David from Australia. Now, what David did is he reached out to me and he sent me some really nice encouraging emails. And he said, have you ever thought about looking at banknotes under UV light and featuring them in your videos? And I thought about it and I thought, what a fantastic suggestion that is. So I tried doing it using my original method of recording and it just didn't work. So what I did is I went back to the drawing board and I basically decided to approach this in an entirely different way, and I think it's really going to work. So what I'm going to show you today is a series of Northern Irish polymer banknotes that were released quite recently over the last couple of years, and we're going to look at what hidden features are embedded in the banknotes that are revealed under UV light. Now, hopefully this new format of video is quite fun and interesting for you guys. However, if you don't really like it, don't worry, because I am going to continue to produce videos using the old method where I'm just behind the camera and I'm just showing you banknotes. So don't worry. Hopefully this will be something new that will appeal to some people, but then I will also continue to use the old method as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So here you can see we've got the Ulster Bank 5 Ulster pound note. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the transition that this banknote makes when you put it under UV light, and it's pretty spectacular. So are you ready for it? 3, 2, 1, here it comes. Watch carefully. Okay, so what you see is when this goes under UV light, you can see that the flower, which is the centerpiece of the banknote, just explodes with these fluorescent colors. You get this wonderful green and yellow vibe that runs right through it, and it really makes it come to life. It's very, very, very visually impressive. You know, when I got all these banknotes out, I was just sat in a dark room and I laid out the banknotes and I turned on my UV light and I just scanned it across all of them, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. I have to make a video about this. So David's suggestion was brilliant. Thank you so much. So you can also see, other than the flower, you can see that we've got this rectangular shape that emerges, and within it we have an imprint of that same flower. So really, really nice hidden security feature in this banknote. So let's have a look at the next one. The next one is the 10 Ulster pound from the Ulster Bank, and here it is. Now I'm only showing you the front of the banknotes because that's where these security features are embedded. You don't actually see anything on the reverse of the banknotes when you put them under UV light. So let's have a look at this one under UV light. Here comes the transition. Really spectacular. Look at that. It's absolutely incredible. The way that the flowers sort of bloom with these autumnal colours really, really fits with the theme of the banknote. Obviously you can see the colour scheme. We're looking at the colours of autumn, and the way that you get this sort of like a browny, reddish, orangey colour that comes out in the flowers really reflects that theme of autumn. Really, really nice. Over to the right side, you can see that we've got this, I'm not really sure what it is. It's obviously representing something. I don't know if it's some kind of peak or something like that. It's very unusual, but you've got this lined pattern, and what it does is it actually catches the edge of one of the flowers that's embedded into the banknote and gives it this sort of like ghostly aura around the edge of it, which is really, really nice. And then again, we've got the rectangular shape that appears with a leaf embedded into the center of it as well. So there's a lot of sophisticated security features in this banknote that are actually revealed when we put it under UV light. And this for me is the best one. I think this is absolutely fantastic. Now, we're going to move on to the next bank, which is the Bank of Ireland. These are less impressive, but they are unique in their own way nonetheless. So the £5, when we put it under UV light, this is what happens. So you see the transition, not that much going on. We have this rectangular shape that appears with this imprint of the flower, and then we have the denomination of 5 represented within the middle of that flower. So it's interesting, but it's not as visually spectacular as the Ulster Bank notes. That has to be said. However, it does improve a little bit, but not much. Okay, let's have a look at the £10. Here it comes. Okay, so the £10, again, not that much happens, but there is a slight difference when we compare it with the 5 Bank of Ireland pound note. Okay, here it comes. So let's do the transition. Okay, so you can see again, we've got this rectangular pattern that emerges with the outline of a flower over the top of it. And you can see that the orientation is shifted up and towards the right hand side of the banknote, which is quite interesting. But the main thing I want to focus on is the serial number on the left hand side, and you can see that that serial number actually comes up in this bright yellow color, which is really fascinating. I like how they've done that. They've made the serial number into a extra security feature. I think that's a really clever use of that feature of the banknote. So although it's not as visually impressive, there is a sophistication in here which is interesting nonetheless. So let's move on to the next one. This is the last one. This is the Danske Bank £10 polymer note. Now this one is quite interesting. When I first looked at this, I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. However, the more I looked at it, the more I was like, you know what, this is actually really impressive. So here comes the transition. So under UV light, it looks like this. What about that? I think it's wonderful how the 10 basically bursts out of the banknote, and it has this really nice sort of three-dimensional quality to it. And then you can see that just behind it, just up to the right, you can see that we have again another rectangular feature appear with the denomination of 10. And then you've got this interesting pattern that runs through the banknote, and it goes from the top of the banknote and it sort of curves around and meets the large denomination of 10 in the middle. Very interesting. And you can see that that same pattern tracks throughout other parts of the banknote. If you just look under the man's beard, you can see it's also represented there at the bottom. So it's actually just a pattern that is embedded in the note. And you can also see that where we have these sort of round circular images on the left side of the banknote, there's like a ghostly glow that emerges on the outside of those circles, which is really interesting as well. So the sophistication is quite high here. Now, I have to say that when I first started collecting polymer banknotes, or specifically just banknotes in general actually, specifically I didn't really care for polymer banknotes. However, I'm really impressed with the advancements that are being made in the development of polymer substrate banknotes. I think they're really moving on in terms of their sophistication and just their aesthetics. There are some absolutely incredibly beautiful banknotes that are being produced at the moment on polymer substrate, and I think these Northern Ireland banknotes really are great examples of that. The sophistication of the security features as well, really tells you why more and more banks are opting to produce currency or request the production of currency on polymer substrate, because there's just so much more in terms of sophistication of the security features in these notes. So these notes are really winning me over, and when you put them under UV light, they come to life in an entirely different way. So for me, I'm really converted to polymer substrate. I think these are definitely the future. Okay, I might be a little bit slow in figuring that out, obviously, but I've really come to appreciate them in a whole different fashion after looking at them like this. So we do have a new banknote that's coming soon. Obviously, the Bank of England is releasing the new £20 on the 20th of February, so very soon. And the other commercial banks in Scotland and Northern Ireland are expected to follow suit. There has been some delay in Scotland with one of the banks. However, most of them are still aiming for that timeline. Now, This is the only one that I can show you today, which is the Ulster Bank £20 note. And I'm showing you this because I think that the Ulster Bank notes are the most visually impressive. So I'm really, really excited to get one of these under the UV light and see what appears. Because I think if you look at the front of the £20 note, I think those flowers are really going to bloom. And if they bloom with that sort of purplish colour, that's seen in the reflective strip of the Bank of Ireland notes, then it's going to be really, really incredible. So I'm very, very excited for this banknote, really excited to see what's hidden under the surface. So let me know what you think about this design. Are you excited for this one? I know they're difficult to get hold of, but they're well worth it. If you end up paying over face value for this, which you probably will, do it. They're totally worth it because they're fantastic banknotes to collect. So yeah. Let me know what you think about these banknotes under UV light. Is it something that interests you? If it is, I'm going to continue to make more and more of these videos about banknotes under UV light. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I try to bring you as much informative content as I can, and I'm always trying to innovate and move this channel forward in a different and fresh direction. Don't forget to like me on Facebook. You can find a link in the description to my Facebook page, which is full of numismatic news, and you can find high definition images of everything that is in my private collection, and I also post my videos on there as well. So if you're not getting those updates through YouTube, you'll always get them through Facebook. Thank you so much for watching. It's the Money Man signing out for now. Bye bye.